you see how the floor plan is broken up into different quadrants, and those becomes your work zone. So each trade partner had a work zone, and they did their work in there that week, and got to the point where they were done or identified the undone parts of done, okay, and then they would move on to the next sector, okay. So again, that flow became very consistent. So you would have your materials. Everybody knew what their responsibilities were. Okay, and so it became a very lean construction operation. You weren't fighting other trades. You weren't moving as many ladders and hunting for things. It was all right in your workplace, which is a good win for the project. In addition to that, you'll start to see that we took a very granular look at a 2-week activity, which is typical for construction. And then beyond that, it's like 6 weeks. So we could make sure that we had materials delivered in a timely fashion for that production schedule to occur. Visual management, every trade partner had their own color. Sticky. Okay, so this was much more colorful before.
Level 1, 3, 4. What?
Okay, so we go over to the building. Level 1 is the ED.
Okay, gotcha.
Level 3 is outpatient surgery. So those are the major
floors or levels. Gotcha.
I'm with you. Okay, and then up here, what you're seeing, the trains. This was our path. So basically, everybody had their associated, color, visual management, and this is all the rough-in stuff. So all this, I call it invisible money. Hospitals hate to pay for it, but it's a necessary evil. All the stuff that's above the ceiling that costs a lot of money, that's that train car, okay? So it's just that work process for that is shown up through here with the main distribution rough-ins, okay? So they're able to go through the building and set those up, again, we got up so far, put a temporary roof on level 4. And then these guys started on level 1 and just started to work the way up the building. By the time they got to level 4, okay, the rest of the building was up. So again, they started to work, in tandem going through vertically. And then on the outside of the building as well, I mentioned last night at dinner, we had 2 cranes working, again, so that we can enclose the building faster to allow someone, that train car, to start their work. You can't put drywall in until you have an enclosed building, right? Yeah. So that allowed us to work both sides of the building and enclose it faster to allow that process to work through. So again, you start to see that whole process, that whole planning process of what goes in first so that we're not fighting each other, and then the sequence of the cars was established to reflect that construction logic.
That's great. What a great visual.
Mm-hmm. It is. I'll send you some images of these boards like fully populated, because it was very impressive.
That'd be
it was
great.
very, very impressive to see.
Well, I like to see that you're 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's custom for the process.
This is immediate activity,
yeah.
and then long-term activity. And again, we had there were daily huddles with, morning huddles with the production team. So all the foremen and project managers, the project managers are the guys that order everything and make sure it's here in time. The foremen are the guys that are orchestrating work in the field. They would come together and talk about the process daily, okay, here. And they would review yesterday's activities, okay. Did you complete? If you didn't complete, what do we need to do to help you get to your done process, okay? So again, that became our issues log, our parking lot, so to speak, of things that we needed to follow up on and improve as we went through. Or we knew that we had comeback work. We tried to minimize comeback work. Is it a little bit unrealistic to think there would be 0? I mean, we're all human, okay? So, but again, it just started to become a strategy. Now we called this mission control too, because we did a little video with the Apollo 13, and we did the whole review of that movie, and you start to see some of the slogans that were up in here. It's just like we didn't want you to say I might be able, I maybe. It's just like, no, what can you do? Let's get that commitment, let's get that promise from everybody so we can move on.
That movie is such a rich source of the motivation, but as well as the problem solving and everything.
Exactly.
Like that.
How can we work together to get these issues resolved? And so, like I said, they had their morning huddles, and then in the evening, like at the end of the day, we had a second huddle with, again, the project managers, sometimes the foremen, but the designers. So if during the course of the day something came up, we knew what it was on a daily basis, okay? And said, okay, if I don't get this answer in 3 days, you're gonna slow down my train car,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So it became an instant communication tool as well, which worked really, really well. We have these boards up in our office now, we're just using this constantly, working through all our schedules and projects, so
That's great.
really, really helpful tool.
Very cool, very
Okay.
cool.
So I think I don't wanna hold you up for your conversation over there, but we will be happy to get you any and all pretty pictures for this, much more colorful rainbow Post-its displayed everywhere, and if you have any other questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much.
No problem.